As psychotherapist and World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day founder Bree Bonchay likes to put it, if you haven't heard the word narcissist by now, you're probably living under a rock. And yet, such a large percentage of people have never heard the term narcissistic abuse, and if they have no clue what it means. This unfortunately also includes some people who are actively being abused by narcissists. Today, QueenBeing.com, we're going to discuss narcissistic abuse awareness and why it's so important and why June 1st is going to be a big important day for all of us. So, let's get started. My name's Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's just get going. This will be my second year participating in World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, and this year I'm one of the featured speakers. I'm very honored to be involved. I asked Bree Bonchay for permission to make this video, and not only did she give it, but she also agreed to give me a little clip of herself.
Hi, my name is Bree Bonchay, and I'm a psychotherapist who specializes in helping people recover from narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. But I'm doing this video today because Angie asked me to tell you a little bit about World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. I founded World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day in 2016 with the hope of raising awareness about narcissistic abuse. And I also wanted to provide public pathology education, since to date there's no cure for NPD or ASPD, and our only hope of prevention is to educate and inform people. And I also wanted to bring healing resources to the survivor community, because I know so many of you are legitimately frustrated with the lack of knowledge mental health practitioners have about pathological relationships and their impact. So what I did last year and what I'm doing again this year is I'm holding a virtual Telesummit. And it's on June 1st, which is Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. And it's for everyone. Anybody can join. All you need is an internet connection and to register. And I invited over 16 experts from around the world to talk about the impact of narcissistic abuse and how to recover from it. And we really put our heart and soul into this event, and we want everyone who attends, no matter where they are in their recovery journey, where they live, who they are, how old they are, to come away with it feeling really informed and empowered and have actionable tools that you can actually use immediately. So when I say we, I mean myself, Athena Moberg, and Matt Pappas, who's doing all our web and IT stuff. And if you want to learn more about World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, or you just want to find out more about the Telesummit and the topics the speakers are speaking on, or you want to get involved and join the cause, you can go to our website at www.wnaad.com. And I look forward to seeing you there on June 1st. Take care.
I think one of the most important parts of narcissistic awareness is understanding that a narcissist is not just someone who's full of themselves or someone who thinks they're better than everyone. A narcissist is actually driven by something like shame or an idealized version of themselves, a mask, if you will. They've convinced themselves and many people around them that they're someone they're just not. The thing is that the way the narcissist copes with all of these issues that they have, whether they're related to their own lack of self-esteem or something much bigger, are very abusive coping techniques. Narcissists tend to abuse the people closest to them verbally, emotionally, and sometimes otherwise. We see this type of deep psychological abuse in many people in the cluster B spectrum. But in this case, today we're talking specifically about narcissists or people with narcissistic personality disorder. There are lots of different qualities, and I'll link to some videos for you above and in the description below. If you're dealing with someone who shows a marked lack of empathy and who treats other people in their lives with that lack of empathy, especially people closest to them, and even sometimes complete strangers, you might be dealing with a narcissist. Narcissists are certainly selfish, but they also have a lot more under the hood than you think. For example, they tend to have a really distorted self-image. Their emotions can be very intense and incredibly unstable. Sometimes they're very vain, sometimes they feel inadequate. They struggle with power and personal adequacy in general. But here's the thing. Most narcissists, in fact, every toxic narcissist, anyone, whether they have narcissistic personality disorder or they just have traits of a narcissist, the biggest and I think most defining and most unifying quality of all the different types of toxic narcissists is the marked lack of empathy and the sense of superiority and grandiosity, whether they're obvious about it or not. Because they lack empathy, narcissists are notably unable to concern themselves with other people's feelings. Their sense of self-importance gives them a really intense preoccupation with themselves and their own needs. And they tend to use other people in their lives, especially those closest to them, as sources of narcissistic supply. This can be a partner, this can be a child or a parent, or it could be a brother or a sister or a coworker, a friend. It doesn't really matter. It can be anyone close to them. They will use any and all of the people that are close to them as narcissistic supply. Well, narcissistic supply is essentially an emotional dumpster for the narcissist. They may agitate you into screaming at them or crying to them or being upset or scared or angry or whatever, and then throw that all back in your face and call you an abuser, just for one example. Narcissists are known for their blatant disrespect of other people, especially those closest to them. While they seem to have an extreme sense of self-worth, the truth is that underneath their mask, they secretly think they're inadequate most of the time. On the flip side of that, they tend to be easily irritated and very quick to anger. Here are a few more traits you might find in your average toxic narcissist. They have a big appetite for attention from other people. They need it like we need air and water. They have big jealous issues all the time. Extreme feelings of jealousy as well as causing jealousy in their partners sometimes. Major expectations of a certain kind of treatment, usually better than everyone else and usually above and beyond the laws of even the land they live in. They always want special treatment. They exaggerate stuff like their talents and their achievements and their importance and their money. They are so sensitive to criticism, and they have this tendency to feel really rejected and hurt with even just the most tiny provocation. They have a really hard time maintaining good relationships. I know you're shocked. They often have grandiose fantasies about their own importance and wealth and popularity and etc. They are all about taking advantage of other people, and they have no conscience when they do it. They believe that they are special and unique and should only associate with similar, special, unique people. And again, the uniting quality being that they lack empathy for other people and they act on that. Normal people act on empathy. We think to ourselves, well, what would I feel like if I were in that situation? Narcissists never do that. They don't ever do it because they think they're different and special. They think other people are beneath them, not as good as them, or that they're not even real people. One last interesting quality about narcissists is that they tend to think whatever they like, whatever they want is the thing. It's the biggest, most important, special thing. So, for example, if you're watching a movie with a narcissist and they told you beforehand, hey, this is my favorite movie, even if they didn't tell you sometimes, and you say, I don't really like this movie very much. Can we watch something else? You're in trouble. Same deal if they take you to a restaurant they love. And let's say you don't like what you got to eat. Suddenly you're in big trouble because you don't like the same things they like. You didn't like the restaurant or whatever. This is an example of how narcissists think they're so much more important and more exclusive and special than everyone else. All of these qualities lead them to abuse the people in their lives, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. Narcissistic abuse is a form of psychological and emotional abuse, primarily inflicted on us by people who have narcissistic personality disorder or people who have antisocial personality disorder, also known as psychopaths and sociopaths. People on the cluster B spectrum. And it's associated with a lack of empathy or an absence of conscience. Why has nobody actually heard about it, or very few people? I'll tell you something, when it happened in my life, I had no clue what it was. And I hear that from my clients all the time, or people who watch my YouTube videos. They say, I had no idea until I saw your video that this was a thing. I didn't even know I was being abused, because it's so subtle and pervasive. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, a member of my family, chances are that you already know you're not alone. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that we're way less alone than we think. You're not alone in this. But why aren't we already educated about this narcissistic abuse stuff? Well, it's because it's really invisible to the naked eye. When you're walking down the street, nobody can see that you have been abused by a narcissist. When we've been abused physically, we have marks on our face, we have broken bones, broken bodies. When we've been abused mentally, emotionally, psychologically, nothing shows through. That's one of the reasons most people don't even recognize this as a legitimate form of abuse. What you can't see is hard to talk about sometimes. That's why I do what I do, and why a lot of other people do what we all do in this area. We have to remember that narcissistic abuse is sneaky. It's covert sometimes. It's disguised as love or concern. It's not just a single act of cruelty. It's not just a poke or a single insulting comment. It's kind of pervasive. It's underhanded. It's abuse that is a string, sometimes lifetimes long, of verbal insults, undercuts, underhanded stuff. Sometimes something that could be said in a room full of people and you would be the only one who knew that it was an abusive thing that person said. It's that sneaky. See, the thing is, on paper, sometimes narcissists still appear perfect. Well, I never called you a name and I told you I loved you every single day. Or I showed up for every single baseball game and did all those things I was supposed to do. But what people don't see is behind closed doors, that person is actively abusing their family members, their spouses, their friends. See, none of those things are actually for those people. They're not for you. They didn't cook the dinners for you. They didn't go to the baseball game for you. They didn't go to your dance recital for you. They did all those things for the appearance of what other people around them would think, because more important to them than their own family members are the opinions of complete strangers. You're not being narcissistically abused if you got one insulting comment, or even if somebody went off on you out of the blue and cussed you out. You're being narcissistically abused if someone has insidiously, gradually, intentionally worked to erode your whole self. They take your self-worth, they take your self-esteem, and they crush it up into a small little piece of nothing and they throw it out. You are left spinning, lost, confused, angry, sad, empty. Narcissistic abuse is all about tearing you down so that they can obtain control of you as an individual, as a person. They will dominate, manipulate, intimidate, emotionally coerce you, withhold love, affection, food sometimes, money. They will lie to you. They will be extremely selfish and not concern themselves with your needs ever. They will guilt trip you, reject you, stonewall you, silent treatment you. They will financially abuse you. They will gaslight you. They will be so possessive you don't even know what to do with yourself. And on the flip side of it, they'll be crazy jealous. And if that doesn't happen, then they'll just be really jealous inducing. They will do things to make you feel jealous. They'll project all of their bad qualities onto you. The point is, sometimes someone in your life might be dealing with narcissistic abuse and you would never know it. You might even envy that person's life, not understanding what they're really dealing with. If you're one of those people, then I want you to take this initiative right now. Sign up at the link below or go to WNAAD.com and sign up for the free upcoming event and do whatever you can to help support it. Share this video, share the link to the site, share the link to the sign up. World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. It's a growing global movement that is dedicated to raising up the profile of narcissistic abuse, taking it out of the shadows. This is a very unrecognized and still legitimate form of abuse, and the whole purpose of this whole thing is to bring awareness to it. In using this platform, the World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day team hopes to become a non-profit with 501c3 status. They want to facilitate and operate even more groups like SPAN, or free online survivor support groups, for people who can't afford coaching or mental health care services. They also want to do something that I've been trying to do for a long time, and that is to create and maintain a database, an international database of trauma-informed practitioners who specialize in narcissistic abuse with additional resources available to survivors that address their other needs. They also want to educate and inform more people. And I'm just going to tack my little thing on the end of that. I would love to create some sort of chain of survivor retreat places that you could go and get away and stay there if you need to run, if you need to escape, if you have no money of your own, you could go for free. If you have enough money, you could pay. But I would love to see something like that happen in our world today. This leads me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, have you been here? Have you experienced narcissistic abuse? If so, are you with me on Awareness Day? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. If you are unable to publicly support Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day because you're still in that relationship, just wear purple on June 1st. We'll know what you're doing. Make sure you take a look at the links I'm leaving for you here, and hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about narcissistic abuse and recovery. And check out the links I left for you in the cards above. All right? That's all I've got for you right now. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. I'll see you soon.